Attention listeners, mark your calendars for Colorado Gives Day on December 10th. Support Aftersight and give to the causes you care about. Go to coloradogivesday.org/organizations/Aftersight between now and December 10th to make your donation.
You're listening to an AINC original podcast. We believe you don't have to do life without a compass. Let us be your guide on this amazing journey. Welcome to Navigating Life with Vision Loss.
Hello, this is Kim Wardlow. I'm your host for NLVL. We have a special program for you today. And a special series for you. So we're going to be doing something a little bit different for the next couple of months as we head into the holiday season and several holidays coming up. We're going to do an 8-week series of all things holiday. So everything from dealing with family and travel and decorations to getting ready for the new year. So we're starting off today. The episode is entitled Home for the Holidays. And I am here with all of my Aftersight teammates, and we're just going to talk about our holiday traditions. And if you have a holiday tradition that you would like to share with us, please do. You can reach us at contact@aftersight.org if there's something that you'd like to share with us that's a particular tradition for you. We'd love to hear that. So let's just start out. Everybody is here. Do you want to just introduce yourselves and just say what you do here at Aftersight, and maybe say if you have a favorite holiday song or holiday movie, TV show, something like that? I can start. As I said, I'm Kim Wardlow. I'm the executive director here at Aftersight. And there's lots of shows that I have loved over the years, but still, even as an adult, I still love the Charlie Brown Christmas show.
Awesome.
That's a pretty good one. I'll go next. Jonathan Price, podcast producer. You said favorite song or movie?
I'm going to go movie or show, holiday.
Oh, okay. So a new one that's actually come out, Christmas Chronicles. Russ, what is his name? Kurt Russell. Thank you. Man, those are good movies. And I think they're coming out with a third one. So I'm really excited about that. So that's a good one.
Good to know. I haven't watched that.
This is Penn.
Yeah, he's by far the best Santa.
He is a great Santa. This is Penn Street, also known as the Blind Chick. I'm the Development Outreach Director here at Aftersight, and by far my favorite movie, It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life.
Nice. I want to watch that one.
I love that movie. And I even have a special ornament that was signed by the little girl. She's grown up, and actually she's quite elderly now, but a friend of mine had met her and at a Christmas show in LA, and she had these ornaments, and so my friend was able to get and it's actually signed by her. It's really sweet. It's very sweet. So,
Zuzu, the girl who played Zuzu? Nice.
Yep. Yeah, that's a classic movie.
Yeah.
The great one.
Well, since we're going in order, it seems, of podcast hosts and producer here, Evan Starnes, the audio production technician and the host of Blind Level Tech. And I'm going to do a song for actually honestly one of my absolute favorite Christmas songs, if we're not counting all of the Mannheim Steamroller stuff, because it's really good. But my favorite Christmas song is the Christmas Canon by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, yeah, I just listened to that. It's a good one.
I love that song.
Yep.
Good one.
That's a good call.
I'll go next. So my favorite Christmas movie is actually the saddest movie like you'll ever watch, which is The Family Stone with Diane Keaton. every single year. It's really depressing, and it makes me cry and gets all this sadness out of the way so I can enjoy the rest of the holiday season. So it's a tradition with me.
That's good. Awesome. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I am Michael, and I am the community outreach specialist here at Aftersight. That's who I am.
Michael, have you ever made that dish that they make on there?
Oh, yes. I do make that dish.
Yeah, it's actually good. I can't remember what it's called.
Strata.
Oh.
I suppose I'll go next. My name's Alex. I'm the senior programming manager, and my favorite Christmas movie is probably Rare Exports. It's a super creepy, like horror Christmas movie. I would highly recommend not watching it, but I love it. Has anyone here seen it?
No, but I'm going to.
It's really creepy. It's like a Finnish movie.
Oh my gosh.
It's like about, I don't want to give it away, but
Rare Exports. Okay.
Yeah,
Tonight.
it's kind of a horror movie.
That's okay.
But I like it. I think it's weird.
Is that kind of like the zombie musical that came out several years ago? That was horrible.
I don't know what that is.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of about like I guess Santa's little helpers are like demons, and it's a whole thing.
Wow.
That's pretty great.
A twist on that. Well, I think of, Scandinavian things that books and movies, a lot of times they are a little bit darker sometimes.
I think it is based off of like an urban legend thing in Scandinavian culture or something. Mm-hmm. And I think it mentions it in the movie and stuff. Yeah.
It sounds very festive.
It is.
You can cry,
cool.
you can scream, like all of that.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I guess I'm the last to go. I'm Jennifer Neptune. I'm the programming volunteer specialist here at Aftersight. And I'm going to pick music because music is always playing in my office, in my car. But I like the Pentatonics' Mary Did You Know? Mary Did You Know in general was such a really great song, originally brought out by Michael English. But Pentatonics just killed it. It's just an amazing rendition. So,
Jennifer, have you ever been to their holiday concert?
No, I would love to.
They were in Loveland the year before last. They're just as fantastic live as they are.
I can imagine.
On the radio and on Spotify.
That would be awesome.
One of the times that I've seen them, they were on tour with Kelly Clarkson, and they did a couple of covers of Kelly Clarkson with Kelly, and it was bonkers.
Incredible.
It was so cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway,
That would be cool.
good dig, Jennifer. Nice.
Good picks. So you've had a little bit of insight into all of us and what some of our favorite things are around the holidays. Let's talk about traditions. Growing up, did you have any kind of holiday tradition that you always did, that either that you really loved and enjoyed, or that maybe you didn't like it, like you really wished you didn't do it, but your family was into it?
This is Jennifer again. Traditions that I enjoyed and then I carried on with my kids and even my adult kids now is stockings. I love putting stockings up for Christmas. I like that they're individual. I always put an orange at the bottom of the stocking to make it heavy. Whether you eat it or not, it's going to be there. Fill it up with candy. I try to put one little gift in there. And then I also buy pajamas, which now my kids are too old for that, but they like it anyway. Buy a pair of pajamas and put it at the end of their bed so that when they wake up, they're supposed to put on those pajamas. And then technically, as kids, we came down the stairs. Now there's no stairs to come down. But anyway, I just love the stocking idea just because it's kind of individualistic. I like to put fun little candies in there. When living overseas the past 22 years, there were no stockings and there was no special candy. And so the last couple of years that I've been back, I'm like, oh my gosh, Christmas candy. I don't care if it's like the same candy I've all eaten, but it's green and red. I will buy it because it's just significant, it's special, and I've missed that for a long time. So I was glad to kind of reinstate that into. I mean, I did what I could overseas, but it just wasn't the same. So
yeah. But did they have? did they have, I'm sure they did, special traditions where you were in Brazil that they did during
They did.
the holidays?
The major thing in Brazil, at least the 13 years that we were there, they celebrate Christmas on the 24th at midnight, and they eat this huge dinner at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and also open up gifts. So it's kind of like combining both days together, and I just couldn't do that. Just couldn't get on board with that. I was just like, not at midnight. I've done other things like that in Trinidad where they were eating at New Year's I've never had the most spicy goat dish in my life. I thought I was going to pass out. It was so spicy. At like 2 o'clock in the morning, celebrating Happy New Year. And I'm like, this is not happy.
I'm going to be sick.
I'm going to be sick. But it was great. I've experienced different cultures and different ways of celebrating. So that's fun.
That's fun.
That is fun. It reminds me, a friend that his family, I mean, he was born here, but his ancestry is Italian. And he said that they always had the dinner of the 7 fishes. So they would go to mass, and then they come home late, kind of like you were saying, Brazil, late at night. And then they would have 7 different kinds of fish, seafood dishes, plus all the other things. And that was their thing, which was kind of, not the exact opposite, but we always did our big dinner and it was just the 3 of us because we didn't live near any family. And like the one year we tried to visit family, I think that was actually Thanksgiving, in Kansas. We ended up in there was an ice storm, and we ended up trying to beat the ice storm back and just coming home before it was even, before Thanksgiving, and we ended up in this ice storm and stuff. So we never did that again. But at Christmas, we would always have our big meal on Christmas Eve, and we would do that, and we'd have a birthday cake for Jesus, and then on Christmas Day, as a kid, I was allowed to get up before my parents and not wake them up, but go get my stocking, and I could open my stocking presents and be happy. Nice. And then my parents were just hoping that would take me a while, so it would be at least like 8 o'clock or something before I'd come and wake them up. And it's just me; I'm an only child, so we always did that. And then on Christmas Day, we just ate snacky things, like cheese and crackers and snacky things. So that was kind of our tradition.
Well, I'm going to jump in, Jonathan Price. And instead of going Christmas tradition, I remembered one, as we were talking about food, that Thanksgiving often gets overlooked for some of our traditions. And when I was a kid, we always went to Durango, and we had, at the time, there was me and my cousins. I think there were like 10 of us at the height when we were down there, but there would always be like 30 people in one house. So we would have this big Thanksgiving feast, and then right after Thanksgiving dinner, we would pack everybody up, get our snow stuff on, and we would go up the mountain, and we would all get our own individual Christmas trees to take back to our homes to decorate for Christmas. Oh, wow. Well, this one particular year, us being kids, we all wanted our own tree in our own room. So my dad reluctantly said yes, and we ended up packing the inside and top of our van with not only a Christmas tree for the living room, dining room, and family room, but then 4 trees for me and my siblings. So we ended up with almost 10 Christmas trees strapped to our car. It was the car smelled like pine for 6 months. It was fantastic.
That's crazy.
That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, I'll go. This is Penn, and I grew up in I was the 9th of 10 kids, and Christmas was, I'm sure, a hard time for my family. We were not wealthy on any level, and plus having that many kids. And so I never remember believing in Santa Claus or anything like that, because with that many older siblings, that secret came out. But we did, like, as we got older, the three youngest one, my brother Tim and my little sister Sherry and I, we would try to do things like, because I really envied other kids that had these traditions, right? And we would try to do things, and but they just never stuck. We did have a meal. I know we did that as a family, but there wasn't anything that really stood out. So when I met my husband, and he has 2 little girls from a previous marriage, I was determined I was going to have my Christmas traditions. But it was really, really hard. If any of you are from, blended families, and it's hard because they have their traditions with the parents, but like, which parent gets that tradition, right? And then, but I'm with Jennifer. Like, the one thing that I did do is the stockings, and I probably still to this day go overboard on the stockings. For me, they're more fun to do, and then also, but the one thing that I have done with the girls ever since they were little is every year I pick them out an ornament, and then of course as they got married, and then now they have kids of their own, it's like a family ornament or something. But and I do that every year, and I have my eyes open as much as they can come open all year long, because it's not like I just go into a store December 1st and pick out an ornament. It's, I am searching for this ornament all year long for both of them. So that, I would say that is probably the closest thing to a true tradition, is that giving them an ornament that is either a symbol of something we did together that year, or, something. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I feel like I've been pretty quiet here, so I'm go ahead and jump in. And Jonathan, I am glad you brought up Thanksgiving traditions, because I feel like both sides of my family are honestly pretty. We love our camaraderie, and we love to have fun, not super raging parties or anything, but just a good time. And so, like, I feel like I get the thing about being blended families, because, both sides of my family, my moms and dads, have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day parties. So it's kind of like a struggle of like, which one do I want to go to? But Thanksgiving is fun because on my dad's side, we do like the very traditional, like, make tons and tons of food. And the thing I like about that side of the family is that we always play like games afterwards. Like last year, my aunt actually, rather than like breaking out like Cards Against Humanity or Parcheesi or whatever, she actually printed off this whole list of like trivia and like word games. Like, think of a word that of a Thanksgiving food or whatever. Like, she made it fun. So like, I feel like that side of the family always tries to do fun and unique stuff every year. But Christmas wise, like, at least on my mom's side, we always go to my uncle's big house in Brighton, and it's just your typical fun family holiday thing. Music, kids playing, eggnog and cookies and yummy and turkey and yummy things. And then on my dad's side, my grandma every year, and I implore and beg her to do this every year, makes pizzelles. And if you haven't had a pizzelle before,
I don't. What are they?
They're magic. It's like a thin kind of crunchy kind of a dough, and it almost looks like a waffle shaped, but kind of a sweeter flavor, almost cookie like, but
than, like waffle shaped, but more like a cookie texture.
Oh,
I'll bring some in. I'll have to bring some in, because.
Do you make them on like a little iron, or do you punch them out like in the dough, like in a cookie cutter kind of thing?
You actually, so you do make them in an iron, and the iron actually looks very much like a waffle maker. The only difference is, I think, the bumps are like shorter because the dough is thinner, so that way you're not poking holes in your pizzelles.
Nice.
And then I remember as a kid, my mom and dad would always do like something cool, and I really appreciate them for doing that. I had always wanted to have, not always, but I'd wanted to have a Christmas tree in my room. So I think when I was a little kid, my grandma got me a little Christmas tree, and I used to. Our tradition on oh my gosh, I'm going all over the place, but on my grandma's, my mom's side, I love musical ornaments and musical figurines and stuff. And I'd always go to my grandma's, and I would go to the Christmas tree and find all the musical ornaments and play them all at once. So now she has a section of the tree, like a whole row around the tree, just devoted to musical ornaments. And like one new one seems to be added every year. I think we've got like 12 now.
That's cute.
Sweet.
It is cute. I love it.
So I'll go next. A couple things. So Jennifer, I don't know where the orange in the bottom of the stocking comes from, but my mom did the same exact thing.
Exactly.
So I don't know where that came from, but I feel you and I hear you. And then with the pizzelles with Evan, if you soak them in brandy and then serve cinnamon vanilla ice cream on top of them, they're fantastic. And then tradition-wise, mine kind of covers both Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we're not a really traditional family. So my brothers and my sister are a lot older than I. So I was in like an only child kind of situation like Kim. But every single year on Thanksgiving and every year it was Christmas at my parents' house, which was my house, obviously. We played flag football, but my family is extremely competitive. So that flag football lasted about 15 minutes, and then it turned into full-on touch, tackle football.
There you go.
Until I was like 30. So when I was 30, my nephew broke his arm on the edge of the sidewalk, and then when I was 31, my other nephew broke his leg on a sprinkler head that was in the lawn. So then when I was 32, I should say this, that was at Thanksgiving. So at Christmas time, he thought he would like to have a better view of the football match. So he climbed up on top of my dad's RV, tripped and fell off the RV, broke his other leg with the cast on his first broken leg. Yeah, and then when I was 32, my other nephew ruined his knee, which is ruined to this day, being tackled during that football game. So when I was 32, my mother said, "No more. End of tradition. There's no more going to the ER. There's no more waiting on dinner for you to get back with your cast. I'm done." So that was the end of that tradition.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I suppose I'll piggyback off of the stocking concept, but stockings are definitely big in my family. My mom's obsessed with creating stockings, so she'll create one for everyone in the family, including not only her dog, but also my dog. And I think she even made one for my sister's bunnies last year. That's awesome. So we just have all these stockings, but her thing is she likes to fill them with mildly useful things. She put bungee cords in there, and I think one year she put toilet paper in there. So they're just filled with kind of they're useful. I'm sure I have a new bungee cord for what I needed. But that's kind of her thing. They're always really funny, and we're always very excited to open them up. Other than that, I think last year, Brady's brother, Chad, so he brought over his pizza oven and made pizzas for our Christmas dinner. And it was the most amazing pizza I've ever had. And we all did it together and made our own toppings and did our own dough and stuff for little individual sized pizzas. But it was amazing. So we're going to force him to bring his pizza oven over every year now. It's going to be our new tradition.
That's a great idea. That's a good one too.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
Any other traditions maybe that have changed as you've gotten older that maybe you didn't do as a kid, but you've done as an adult? Kind of like Penn said when you had the two girls and you were trying to do the stockings and some of the things you did.
Trying so hard. Yeah. The one thing that to me, is fudge at Christmas. Yes.
Oh,
I don't have to have a lot. I know some people are like, they have to have their pumpkin latte until, around Halloween. But to me, I have to have, and it has to be homemade fudge. Like it can't be from a store. And it's like that. Okay, if I have my piece of fudge, I'm good.
One tradition that we started doing over the last probably 10 years or so, there's a Thornton Winter Lights Fest or a Thornton Winter Fest, and they have all these tons of food trucks and this little mini Santa village type thing you can walk through, and there's all these displays of like elves working on toys and a reindeer hospital, and so you see like Donner in there getting worked on or something like that. It's really cute. But then they have all these Christmas trees that are displayed, and businesses can sponsor a tree, and they have a tree decorating contest, and so then they all light up, and then there's these huge massive 10 to 15 foot in diameter fire pits that are just going, and people can warm up by the fires.
Nice.
They've got live music, concerts and things like that, and then at, I think 8:30 or 9, they have this gigantic firework display, very similar like the 4th of July, and they just go completely all out. And so that's something that we've really enjoyed over the last 10 years or so. It's really become a really fun new tradition for us. Another thing I think it's more nostalgic than it is traditional. My mom likes these ribbon candies that, are years and years and years and years old, but they come from See's Candies, and that's the only place you can get them. Yeah. They're these beautiful ribbon shaped candy. And so, we get her those every year.
Yeah. My husband, Doug, he loves those too. The old ribbon candies, and you can get them. Oh, now I'm spacing the name. Hammond's candy.
Hammond's,
Hammond's has them too, because I get them. They're for him. I'm not that into that. I'm more into the chocolate. But he likes those, so I'll get those for him each Christmas too.
Has anybody ever had Turkish Delight before?
Yes.
No.
It's so good.
I only Harry Potter. They talk about Turkish Delight. Is it?
No, it's the Chronicles of
Narnia.
Yeah.
There's
Lion, Witch, and
Narnia.
Wardrobe.
Right. What is? Yeah.
One of my favorite desserts of all time.
Really?
But the way I visualize it, they're basically like these little cube-shaped, kind of chewy sweets. They're sweets is what they're categorized as. And some of them are different fruit flavors. And I don't even know how to describe the flavor. You just kind of got to try it for yourself.
Yeah, they come in all sorts of different flavors. You can put really whatever flavor you want in there. It's just like confectioner sugar and gel and then whatever flavoring you want. But it's
delicious.
What's your favorite?
Have you made them before?
I haven't made them before.
What's your favorite flavor? Oh, okay.
I wonder if
They're
they're easy to
actually
make.
not that hard to make.
Really?
But they are kind of diabetic death in a candy form.
They are.
That's probably true.
So one goes a really long way.
Kind of like Jello shots.
Yeah, kind of like that too.
Jello shots are fun.
Yeah.
Fudge is that way too. You like a little bit of fudge.
It's like pecan pie. Like a very small piece lasts you all year.
Yeah.
And Michael makes a really good pecan pie.
I love
pecan tamales.
Pecan pie.
But do you eat the pecan pie, Michael?
I do not eat the pecan pie. I do not like it.
Yeah. So for our listeners, this is kind of an inside joke. Michael is a really great cook, and there's so many things he makes that are so good that all of us love. But he doesn't like them, and he won't eat them. So I always think that's funny.
I like chicken tenders, and I never make those.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
Actually, one of my favorite holidays, speaking of pies, is I don't know if anybody has had like a real peanut butter pie, but that's one of my favorites. But on an Oreo crust with a hot cup of coffee for breakfast. Oh my gosh. That's the best.
Making us all hungry.
I like chocolate peanut butter pie.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's good.
So good. It's my favorite pie.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I can go for a simple pumpkin pie too, honestly.
There's so many good desserts.
For all the listeners out there, if you guys have a recipe you want to share with us, we have it's a staff and volunteer Thanksgiving themed recipe book. We'll happily add yours to it and share our recipe book with you as well. It has some good stuff in there, including 2 fudge recipes.
Nice. And I think actually later in this series, we're going to have Deborah Erickson from The Blind Kitchen on.
Right.
She's going to be coming back on. So she's going to be talking all sorts of holiday meals and traditions. So it'll be a really good time. So get your question in, and we'll ask Deb some questions.
Yeah, definitely. That would be great if anybody has questions or wants to share, or if you celebrate. We've kind of talked a lot about Thanksgiving and Christmas, but if you celebrate Hanukkah or solstice or Kwanzaa or another holiday during the season, we'd love to hear about that too. What those traditions are. I remember in college I spent 1 year in Scotland, and I had cousins. My great grandmother had come from Scotland, and so I spent the Christmas New Year's season with them, and it was interesting because they people celebrate Christmas, but it is nothing compared to New Year's. New Year's there was the big holiday. Yeah, it was the big holiday, and there were all kinds of traditions around, and kind of very old traditions. Like, well, you wanted the first person that came through your door in the new year to be a dark-haired man, and so you'd have to find somebody at your party. Like, okay, it's midnight. Go out and come back in. And it couldn't be a blonde. It had to be a redhead. It had to be a brunette man. And so, they were just all, and I don't know, that was like a few decades ago. But so I don't know if they still are doing that or still, emphasizing New Year's more than all the decorations and everything for the Christmas holidays. That may have changed, but I remember that because it was just different. They still exchanged gifts and stuff, but it was different. And I remember my cousin's husband, Doug, his big thing is he made vanilla tablet, and everybody was talking about his vanilla tablet, and I had no idea what it was. It was basically like vanilla fudge. So it was interesting. All kinds of interesting things with food. Or I remember we always had our cake. It was always angel food cake with pink icing. And I loved that. And I didn't really know why. And I'm not sure, I don't even know if my mom knew why, but years later, like a few years ago, I was reading one of those books about different holiday traditions. And it said that white cakes with pink icing, that was a German Christmas tradition. And so it was talking about, and I had no idea, but my granddad was from Germany. And so I thought, well, maybe, my grandma her family was Danish. So, but maybe somehow that's what he was used to. And so she did that. I don't know. But my mom had always done that. So it's interesting, things that we do, and we don't always know why or where it comes from, but.
Yeah, my family always has tamales, so I would much rather have the cake with pink frosting rather than tamales.
I'll eat your tamales for you.
I don't know. One of my dad's coworkers, he would bring tamales, and we all liked them, but they were quite spicy.
They're always on the table. And for whatever reason, if it's my extended family, there's always a bowl of spaghetti.
Interesting.
I have no idea why, but if you go to a barbecue and it's hot dogs and hamburgers, there's always a bowl of spaghetti.
Wow.
So,
is it for the kids? I know that my family always did that. We always had something that the kids would guarantee to eat, and spaghetti seemed like a go-to, but I don't know. I can't
imagine eating cold or lukewarm spaghetti on a hot day at a barbecue. But I don't know what the reason, but it's a guarantee.
I can't imagine mixing spaghetti and tamales. That's the weirdest combination.
Not to meet my family, Evan.
Yeah.
When do people put up their Christmas trees? Well, Jonathan, are you gonna? When do you guys? Do you wait until after Thanksgiving?
No, we usually wait. We probably won't this year just because it's our house and we can do whatever we want now, and, because my kids are just so ingratiated, they love Christmas so much and everything that it represents and all the fun things that we get to do. It's not good enough for us to celebrate just like 4 or 5 weeks. So we really try to, I think this year we're going to take it to a full 8 weeks of celebrating.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. They're a little crazy. So Ava and Landon already have kind of their ornaments picked out. We do a very similar thing to you, Pan, where we pick an ornament for something that's happened this particular year. But the reason that we do it is because when my parents started that same tradition, they started their Christmas tradition or their Christmas tree with one single ornament on their tree. And so every year they didn't want us to go out on our own and not have a tree and with no ornaments and be Charlie Brown. And so what they did over the years was, while they would give us our ornaments every year, they said, these ornaments, now you go and take and start your own family traditions. And so that you have a tree to put them all on and remember those things, so you don't have a bare Christmas tree. So we're kind of continuing that. And then we find something that means something that we did this year. Ava's doing ballet or, grilling, or I went to Boston, so I got a something from Boston. Yep. So it was awesome. So
we usually put ours up the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of in more of the holiday spirit this year. Yeah. Well, one, it's the first time in years that we will probably be home for Christmas. Nice. We usually travel internationally over the Christmas, New Year holiday, but I think we're actually going to be home this year. So I think I'm maybe putting it up earlier.
I start to put mine on Thanksgiving Day. I start putting my stuff up.
Thanksgiving Day.
I actually need to get a Christmas tree. I do not have one.
We got to fix that.
Yeah, we need to fix that. Do you have ornaments?
I have ornaments. I had a little USB tree somewhere, but it's cute. We were actually talking about starting traditions earlier, and I feel like I started this like the year before. My friends and I started this the year before last year, and then I don't know. Last year was last year, but we had like a Friendsgiving around kind of the Thanksgiving holiday, and it would usually be a potluck. I remember my buddy made this really, really good tater tot casserole and flan. And if you guys haven't had flan before, it's really good.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I usually put up our tree sometimes Thanksgiving Day, but at least that weekend. There's been a couple years that hasn't happened, but usually that's when we put it up. And my mom was really into, the decorating, and it came from her when she was a little girl. I think her family, like you said, her dad being from Germany, their tradition was that the parents put up the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve. And so then when she woke up Christmas morning, and then she'd come into the living room and the tree would be up and everything. And she loved the Christmas tree, and she just loved it all. But then, of course, it didn't last that long because it was Christmas Day and, however long. And of course, I think they didn't have artificial trees back then. So it was a live tree and all that. But so she always wanted to put the tree up right after Thanksgiving. And as a kid, it was like we'd watch the Macy's Day Parade. And as soon as, Santa came through at the end, it was like, all right, Christmas starts now.
Love it. That's it.
And I still kind of do that. It's like, okay, we have to get our Christmas things out. But usually they come down at New Year's or like the weekend after New Year's-ish, I guess.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When my dad was a kid, him and my grandpa did something that kind of reminds me of like what you did, Jonathan. The house that my grandma still lives in has like a very, very, very high ceiling. So they go try and find the biggest tree they could possibly find, like a 10-foot tall or something very ridiculous, and strap it to my grandpa's Ford truck and drive it home. And that thing was so tall, like it would. I mean, it would go beyond like the upstairs. Like you could walk past the house and see it. It was kind of a neighborhood sight to behold.
That's cool.
Wow. You'd have to have a ladder to get all the decorations on.
You did.
Right.
They did, actually.
Well, any other favorite holiday memories that anyone would like to share before we wrap things up? This has been so fun. I feel like we could just sit here and chat.
Mm-hmm.
Since this will be, I think, my 4th Christmas at Aftersight, and we started a tradition. I feel like we kind of have a tradition. We do a staff potluck, and we do the white elephant, and I really, really look forward to it every year. And Michael came up with a fun idea this year that I think everybody's on board with the slippers. So I'm looking forward to our traditional staff Christmas holiday get together, potluck, whatever we want.
That's true. That has kind of become a tradition, our potluck, and we sing songs and do all that. But I like Michael's idea this year of drawing names and getting crazy slippers. I think
it'd be fun.
I think that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to remember to do that so we know people's
and we go live and we share it with all of you.
Absolutely.
Whether you like it or not.
You're going to enjoy it.
Some years have been smoother than others.
That white elephant, though, the most recent one was a blast, honestly.
Fun. Yeah.
I definitely think those are fun. They're a little, depending on the person, it's like, oh my gosh, are they going to like my gift? But
that's what's fun about a white elephant gift.
Exactly. I always like it when radio stations play Christmas music. That's like I don't listen to the radio as much anymore, but I used to as a kid, I used to have to always sleep with audio. And whenever Cozy 101 would play Christmas music, my holiday tradition would be having that on almost all day.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
This
is awesome.
And sharing all of your traditions and your stories. As we said before, for our listeners, we'd love to hear your stories as well, or your traditions. Coming up, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we'll be having other programs related to holidays and shopping and decorating and all those things. But we start out next week talking about navigating family gatherings. And those can be wonderful, and sometimes they can be stressful, and sometimes they're just a lot of drama. So you never know, but we'll be joined by Bill Lundgren next week talking about navigating and possibly surviving family gatherings, depending on what your family gathering is like, whether it's your family you were born with or family that you've chosen. So tune in for that. Join us for that next week. And if you have tips on that, let us know. We can share them next week as well. And of course, it's a season. We think of holidays as a season of giving. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Colorado Gives Day coming up. There's so many wonderful organizations and nonprofits that participate in Colorado Gives Day, coloradogivesday.org. And if you search for Aftersight and are able to make a donation to us, we would greatly appreciate that. But they make it very easy to be able to donate to your favorite charities at the end of the year. So look for that if that's something that you can do. And feel free to share these episodes with others that you think might enjoy them, especially as these 7 are coming up, more topical about different aspects of the holidays that might help other people. Please share that out with folks. And all of us here, I think we'll probably be doing our Facebook Live thing again, but we just want to wish you a very joyful holiday season. And we hope that all of this that we've shared today and that we will be sharing in the next few weeks, more practical tips than maybe what we had today, will help you navigate your life with vision loss.